Hello and welcome to another Madam Money class. My name is Tarra Jackson, aka Madam Money, and we are here to give you the insider information about everything dealing with your money, your income, insurance, investments, credit, everything, relationships dealing with money, love and money. But today we're talking about your career and money. You know, if you have a job, whether you call it just over broke or whether it's a gold mine for you, we still need to know how we can advance in your career, at your job, as well as make more money. So you may be in a position where you really don't like the position, or you love what you do, but you want to advance in that career, or you want to change careers, but ultimately you want to not live in a deficit budget. And one day I'm going to talk about that, a deficit budget, where people tell you to live below your means. That's a deficit budget. Some of us really want to live above our means. And if we want to live above our means, that means we got to make our means grow, right? So if you want to live above your means, that means you got to expand your means. So that means making more money. And so we can do that within our career, within our job, within our workplace. And I have got the chick to tell us how to do it. Of course, I met this beautiful lady on social media. I just meet the best people on social media. She is my Twitter girl. She is my tweet. She was a participant. We participated in Experience Twitter chat, and then she started participating in my Twitter chat, Cash Chats, Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But then we became friends, offline, and then we met for the first time last year. Last year at FinCon, best conference in the world, other than Boss, second to the best conference in the world, right? And it was like I just reconnected with my sister. From another mister. You know how I do. I don't meet too many strangers, but she is the most beautiful person inside and out. Aww. I want to introduce everyone to my home girl, Miss Dorethia Kelly. Woo woo!
Hey,
honey bunches, how are you?
I'm great, but you forgot one very important thing.
What'd I forget?
Our birthday twins.
That's why. That is why we connected like we did.
Yeah.
Because we are the same birthday, February 11th in the house.
Yeah. That's right.
That is a national holiday.
You better know.
Best day in the world. Mandela was freed on our birthday.
Sure was.
I'm just saying. No Valentine's Day. We cannot celebrate it at the same time.
No, we cannot.
It is a completely separate holiday.
Yes, get it right.
Get it right. So, Dorothy, I'm so happy that you are joining me tonight for this Madam Money class. We are talking about how to rock our careers to make some more money, and you were the woman to have this conversation with, because not only do you do money chat, hashtag money chat, but you also help entrepreneurs as well as professionals advance in their careers and their professions. You go to you do training, soft skills training, hard skills training at different organizations. So what else should I bring to the table to really talk about career and money? So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
And before we begin, I want to shout out to a couple of people that are actually inside of the VIP room so they can ask questions and participate. We have L'Oreal, we have Maisha and Rhonda. Hey, Rhonda. So thank you, ladies, and a couple other people that are coming in. So thank you all. So as we get started, Dorethia, tell us a little bit about you, what you do, where you're from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I am a personal finance and business coach. I teach people how to rock their money chat, whether it's in their business, their personal finances, or their nonprofit. I help authors market their books. I teach them how to market their books, create strategy. I don't actually do the marketing, so please don't send me any emails. But as a result of the personal finance piece, I meet a couple different people. People who are wanting to advance in their careers to make more money, just as you spoke about, and people who maybe want to transition from career to entrepreneur 100%. So in that, I end up coaching people on their careers. And many of you know my background as far as personal finance, business, and being a coach, but my corporate career is healthcare finance, compliance, project management. So that is where I have gained the insight on the HR side and the career side of being able to help people advance and be strategic about their careers and not just leave it to happenstance.
Right. And I love the fact that you said strategic and talk about strategy, because it is strategy. It's just like playing chess. You know, those people that say, I don't want to play the corporate game or I don't want to play games, they're going to get played.
That's right. That's right. Because if you come to the table, come to eat. Don't just come to sit there.
You know what I'm saying? People sitting down at a Monopoly game talking about they don't want to play, but they get mad when they lose.
That's right.
I'm just saying. So we're here to teach you the strategies of the game to advance your career. And I love it because, you know, even though we have a passion for helping people with personal finance and we do a lot of coaching and we're contributors to a lot of media as far as financial, we have a professional career that we came up. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So mine matriculated through the financial services industries. And so I automate processes for credit unions. And so what I love about it is being able to take a manual process and automate that process. But we still have a passion, and that's why we do what we do late at night. So,
late at night.
This is what we do at night. Okay.
That's right.
So, Dorothea, let's get right in it. Let's talk about some ways that we can make ourselves more valuable in the workplace as it relates to our careers.
Absolutely. So, what always amazes me when I meet people who say they want a promotion or they want to go further, if you ask them a few key questions about what they do and their industry, they can tell you a little bit about what they do, but they're not industry experts. You need to become an industry expert. No matter what industry you are in, you need to be an industry expert. You need to know your job inside and out. There's no way you're going to be valuable to your boss or your colleagues, because your coworkers need you as well. Because often you guys are working together without even involving your leadership. How can you be valuable to them if you don't really have any answers? Right. And you aren't going to learn this in the 8 hours that you're at work. I'm sorry. You have to take that stuff home. If you are learning a new job or trying to get better at your job, make sure that you are taking things home and studying on your own. Treat it like school. And I think that is what I find people are like, take it home. Oh no, when I leave here, I'm done. I'm sorry, but you're not going to be excellent at your job that way. There just is no way. And you're also not going to be valuable to your boss, because if your boss is not around, they need to be able to depend on you. And if you can't go into meetings and you can't answer questions on their behalf or on your department's behalf, how valuable are you?
I absolutely agree with you. And it reminds me of, I can't remember which book it's in. I think it's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Okay.
Where it talks about, or it could have been Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. It was either one of those two, but one of them quotes the other. But it's like most people have this entitlement attitude, right?
Yes.
That, you know, I deserve this money because I'm doing this job, and they're doing the bare minimum, right? But they want more money. So in order for me to do more, I need to get paid more.
Come on.
It doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying?
Not at all.
That's like going to a fireplace and telling the fireplace, give me heat. I'll give me heat, and then I'll put wood in it. The law, it just doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
People give more money to those that are going above and beyond the call of duty.
Right.
I call it ABCD. If you're not giving me ABCD, you're not going to get more MONEY, right? So you got to go above and beyond the call of duty. And that could be, you know, being the subject matter expert about something. And I know, especially with financial institutions, small credit unions, you have to do a one-stop shop. So you have to know a little bit of everything. But those people that advance in careers is when they hone in maybe on CDs or IRAs. They can do everything. They may not know everything, but they know a lot about this one thing. Right. And they become the go-to person for that one thing. So when that one department needs an extra person, who do you think they're going to think about?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's almost like Will Smith was something about Will Smith when he was doing Ali. Okay. Mm-hmm. So every movie that he did led up to Ali, right?
Wow.
And it was because the people saw him in that role.
That's right.
If he had not done some of the things, the movies, rapping or whatever, and done some of the performances, the cast of people would not have seen him in that role.
To even know him.
Or even know who he was.
That's
and
right.
There's so many people that feel like they should be cast in the role of manager and supervisor, but they haven't done anything to show management that they are even ready or even look the part.
That's right. That's right. I agree 100%. I agree 100%.
So I'm off my soapbox with that.
But people have to realize it's all about, how we talk about in business, brand. Mm-hmm. People have to think about that when they go to work.
Yes.
So you have to look at yourself. Think about your brand when you go to work. When you walk in the door, what do people think about you? Because people talk. Do they think that you know what you're doing? Do they think that you give good answers? Do they think that you are a go-to person, a subject matter expert, just like you said? Mm-hmm. Or are they like, you know what? I'm not even going to bother to go over there and talk to Dorothea because she doesn't have a clue.
Right.
Every time I go over there, Dorothea, she just pushes me off on somebody else. No, you're not. And when people think that of you, management is going to ask them,
yep,
hey, what do you think about Dorothea? Yep. And you want to control what people say.
Absolutely. I love what you're saying is the branding. Most people think that branding is just for entrepreneurs, just for businesses. There is a personal brand that you need to develop that says who you are, what you're about, or what you want to communicate to the world or to your fellow colleagues or to your supervisors or to the owner of the business. And if you don't understand personal brand, if you don't understand branding, one, you need to go to BossCon in Los Angeles, California on the 22nd of July, because we're talking about branding. And it's not just branding for business owners, it's also professionals who want to brand themselves professionally. Whether you're a salesperson, whether you're a teller, whether whatever you're doing, there's a business brand, there's a professional brand, there's a personal brand. Mm-hmm. It is what you are communicating to the world. And it's not what you think you're communicating. The world tells you what you're communicating to them. You have to make sure you're communicating the right thing.
That's right. Because how many times do you hear, well, I didn't mean it like that.
Right.
Well, that's how it came across.
Yes, they did. They meant it like that. Right now I'm strategic in how I'm branding myself in certain areas. But when I was the executive vice president, when I first became executive vice president, I did not brand myself appropriately. Mm-hmm. I did not brand myself, and I see that now. So when the CEO got killed, he was murdered. When he got murdered, and then I became the interim president CEO, it wasn't that they were like, oh my God, you're the next CEO. I got it by default. Mm-hmm. Because they didn't really see me in that position. It wasn't until I was about 3 months in the position that they were like, yeah, you could be CEO of this organization. So, I would have escaped a lot of the drama had I branded myself and been very careful of how I branded myself in the workplace.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So I love that. So let's talk about relationships. How important are relationships in the workplace?
So that goes back to what we were just talking about, how people see you. So that's one piece of it, how they see you based on your work ethic, and how resourceful you are to them. But also, you guys know people on your jobs where they're like, I just keep to myself. I come here, I do my job, and I go right out that door. Right. They don't go to lunch with anybody. Anybody asks them to go to lunch, they're like, no. They won't even hover and chit chat a little bit. You have to get your work done. But there is a social aspect to work. And that speaks to some of those soft skills that is necessary. So I don't even care if there's a whole bunch of drama at work. You have to find your way to navigate that drama peacefully without getting in it, but not isolate yourself. You don't know about the perks at work. You don't know about anything going on. You don't know about the grapevine Because let me tell you, you want to know about that office grapevine. And I'm not suggesting that anybody participate in gossip. I'm just telling you to listen and keep your ears and your eyes open, because you'll find out what's the truth and not. But that often tells you what direction the company is going in, who is about to get a promotion, who is about to leave the company, what positions are opening up. These are the things you learn by having relationship. And also, you don't want to be the person that nobody knows who you are. How can I say, yeah, Dorothea, who? You thinking about Dorothea who for that? Oh, I don't even know. I've never seen her work. And if I'm somebody that they trust, they're like, well, nobody knows who that is. Who's next?
Right.
People are talking about you, good or bad. You need to control that conversation. And you need to make sure people know who you are. There's plenty of things you're going to go to that you don't want to go to. Go to the office luncheons. Go to the office parties. You know, be friendly. I talk about this all the time. I hate when people come in and don't speak. I'm a speaker. I am a very social person, you know.
Yes, we
You don't
are.
have to be like me. You don't have to be giddy and bouncing and coming in like, hey, everybody, had a great time last night. You know, you don't have to be that person. But you do need to come in and speak. Good morning.
At least say hi.
At least say hello, and don't say it like this. Hey, hey, hey. Nobody wants to really talk to you. Hi, how you doing? Go on to your desk. We understand it's early. When you leave, all right, have a good night. Just be polite. It's just common courtesy. This is about relationship building. It doesn't hurt you to go in and say, hey, Dorothea, how was your weekend?
Right.
2-minute conversation, go back and do your work. I know there are a lot of introverted people. I'm not mad at you. Be you. But remember, you need to cultivate relationships at work.
And I think that's very important to establish relationships at work. It helps you, and it could hurt you if you establish the wrong relationships, okay?
Yeah.
Or if you get too close to certain people, because some people just like to talk. They like to get close enough to you to fuel the rumor mill.
Yes.
So like you said, keep your ear to the mill, but don't contribute to the mill.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So you got to be very careful. There's a balance to that.
Yeah.
And you know, like you said, you get a lot of information from the mill.
Yes.
You find out who's about to be fired. You find out who's about to be moved. You find out things before management even have a chance to share it with you. Sometimes the information is correct, sometimes it's wrong, but at least you hear a stir, you get an idea of that. And guarantee you management is listening to the mill as well.
Right.
As the management, senior management, executive management, I knew who to listen to. Yeah. You know, when people want to come into your office and sit down and have a conversation, I knew what to listen to, and I knew what to say and what not to say. And the other point that you made was, you know, building relationships is so significant, so people know who you are. Go to lunch with them. Some people are like, no, I don't want to be personal with certain people. Well, frankly, if you want to advance in the company, I don't want to work with someone who does not have somewhat of a personality or can be personal. Because, and not personal, tell your personal business, but at least have compassion, say hello, whatever. So, you know, if I make a mistake, because if I'm afraid to come to you when I make a mistake, I don't want to work for you.
That's right.
If you don't know how to have a conversation, if I have a problem and I can't come to you, or you just have an attitude every time somebody comes and asks you a question, why would I want to work for you? And why? So I think that's very important that we establish the relationships, but also establish relationships with management. I always tell people that you have to manage upside and down. Anytime you are employed at a job, you are technically a manager, because you have to manage up. Sometimes you have to manage your manager.
Yes.
You have to anticipate needs. You have to understand what they're looking for. You have to deal with their personalities. You have to manage sideways. Those are your colleagues. You have to manage personalities, understand everybody's weaknesses and all that. And you have to, you know, manage down if you have people reporting to you or in other departments. And if you can't do that now, you're not going to be ready to elevate to the next level.
That's right. That's right.
Soapbox again. Yeah, girl. Okay, so how can professionals, how can we invest in our careers? If we want to advance to the next level, how can we advance in our careers? Or how can we invest in ourselves?
So first of all, a lot of people don't take advantage of what's offered at work. A lot of companies are very much devoted to educating their staff, because all kind of studies have been done to show them that the more you offer your employees related to education and professional development, the happier they are at work.
Right.
And a lot of people won't take advantage of that. So that's the first thing. Do the internal free things that are at work. If there is a conference that's coming up, a workshop, number one, you want to sign up for those things, because generally your boss is notified. And what that tells your boss is that you are serious about your career, that you are interested in advancement because you are growing yourself.
Right.
That's first. And the other thing is, this is why it's key that you manage your money properly and that you are financially sound, because there are some things you're going to have to pay for yourself. Because remember, you own your own success. You own your own career. So it's important that you are proactive about seeking out conferences, seeking out different events, going to different networking events outside of your job, so that you can grow, so you can see how other people are doing things, so you can meet other professionals at other companies, make those connections, and who knows when something may open up.
Right.
So that to me is the best way for people to invest in themselves. Take advantage of the company perks, the different things that are offered there, and attend, find out about your industry. What industry, if you ask most professionals, what industry magazine do you read that relates to your career? They're not subscribed to anything.
Wow.
Why not?
Wow.
You should be.
And I love what you said about making sure you leverage the free stuff that's already at your job.
That's right.
Most people are having challenges, either with their finances or with emotional things or family things. Most employers have an employee assistance program.
Yes.
Right? So take advantage of the employees assistance program. Most people, they have training, they have workshops. I have this one, I went to this one employer where I was doing a financial workshop. They maybe had 15 people show up, and there's over 200 people that's there, right?
See?
But they did a survey, and the number one thing that most of the employees complained about was their money and their finances.
But only 15 people showed up.
They didn't take the initiative to leverage something that the employer was paying for.
Yeah.
The employer was paying for them to get the financial information that they needed and said that they wanted. Most people say they want it, but they're not willing to do what it takes to get what they want.
That's right.
And then they wonder why they can't get it.
That's right.
You can't get it because you're not willing to put in the work.
That's right. That's right. And the same thing with the 401k, the retirement plans. Most companies offer an opportunity for you to sit down with the administrator, the company that administrates the 401k or whatever the plan is. They have to practically beg people to do it.
Right.
Now, this is you have to pay to sit down with the financial advisor. They're allowing you to sit down with the financial advisor for free, that they've already covered the cost for, and map out your retirement strategy. And they practically have to beg people to invest in themselves in that way. So,
yeah, and I think a lot of that is denial. A lot of that is the lack of financial intelligence, what's called the financial IQ. Some of it, people, if they don't know what it is, they're afraid of it. But one thing, you're going to want to retire. You're going to have, one day you're going to have the longest vacation of your life. And are you going to be able to enjoy the longest vacation of your life? Or are you going to work through it? Yeah. So I keep telling people, I don't mind, I would love, if you're at Walmart waving at me and you're 95, I'll hug you.
Right.
At you, but
is that really what you want?
I just don't want to be that chick,
Be on the beach somewhere.
Exactly. So we got to plant seeds, and that's
right.
really what it's about. It's about planting seeds.
That's right.
It takes 20 years for a tree to grow to its maturity. So when is the best time to plant a seed for a tree? Right now.
That's right.
And so if you're not willing to plant the seeds for the tree that you say that you want, don't get mad if you can't enjoy the fruit and the shade of the tree in 20 years.
That's right. That's right. The time is now.
The time is now, girl.
That's right. I'm telling you.
How often should we reevaluate our career or reevaluate our career path?
So, everyone gets an annual review, and that's all well and good. That is what your employer believes, that's how they think that you're doing. And then, of course, you get a chance to say something yourself. In addition to that annual review, you need to do a review of your own. How do you really, outside of that, how do you really think this year went? What do you believe you could have done better? What do you think you need in order to excel on your job? And then seek out the next year to make those things happen. Not make the same mistakes that you made last year. Take that criticism that you received from your employer and take it as constructive. Whether you agree or disagree, take it as constructive and act on it. But back to owning your own success and owning your own career. This is your world. So every 3 years, you need to ask yourself, have I been promoted in these last 3 years? Is there a chance for me to be promoted in this next year? When you talk to your boss about it, what kind of feedback do you get? Are the perks of the job, do they outweigh the money that you could get if you were promoted or moved to another position or something like that?
Right.
You have to evaluate, because it's not just about getting those 3%, 5% raises every year, maybe a bonus. It's about elevation. If you're going to do this corporate thing or whatever your career is, if it's not corporate, whatever your industry is, if you're going to do it, rock it. Get to the highest level you can get to. And remember this, your boss, they've done their thing. Their job is not to elevate you. Your job is to make sure you get elevated.
Right.
So they've already done their thing.
Right.
You do yours.
Right.
So,
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree with that.
People are like, oh, they didn't tell me about this and they didn't this and they didn't that. Well, that's their character flaw possibly, or maybe they didn't think you were ready, whatever the issue. What did you do to get elevated? That's the question you have to ask yourself.
Absolutely. It's about understanding the rules of the game, the yes. career game, that's and right. playing them.
That's right.
And one of those things, like you said, when you have an annual review, sometimes you may have a quarterly review, but sometimes your employer or your supervisor didn't let you know about these opportunities because you didn't tell them that you were interested in the opportunity.
Exactly.
So they're not psychic, even though sometimes they act like it.
They're busy. They're busy. They got their own goals to meet.
They're trying to advance themselves, right? Yeah. So one, you have to let it be known in writing. And one of the things, Dorothea, I do have to say this. When we're talking about advancing in the career and making more money, if you want to make more money, how to rock your career to make more money, this is what you need to do. If you know there is a position, whether it's supervisor, a level up, or a different career or whatever, you need to get the job description of the position you want. Yes. For whatever reason, whether it's because it's more money, it's because you can do the job. You need to understand what the requirements of the job are, okay? Yes. The requirements of it, do you at least meet 70% of the requirements?
Right.
Men, they're like, if I meet 40% of it, I'm going for it.
You know what? I'm going to tell you, you are 100% right. I have to tell people all the time, those job descriptions, they're going to throw the kitchen sink in there. So you don't have to try to meet every single thing. Now, you do need to be able to perform, but don't think you have to meet every single tick point that's in that job description.
Exactly. Because what you do need to do is all of the duties that are in the job description, you need to have a very good understanding or have the ability to learn how to do it or the ability to do it or experience doing it. Okay.
That's right.
So, and that is 85, up to 85% of those duties to 90%. You need to know how to do them, have the capacity to learn how to do them, have access to the information to do them, because that will trump requirements.
That's right.
Because I can find somebody that has a master's degree, but they have no experience in the job I need them to do. That's going to be too much work for me to train them versus someone that has an associate's degree that's done the work.
That's right.
I will circumvent the degree just to get someone to do the job, to do the work. So when you're looking at those job descriptions, you have to understand, one, what their requirements are. You don't have to meet all of the requirements of everything, but the duties that are there, you must learn how to do them. So if you know you want to be supervisor and it says you must have experience in managing people, then you need to, you may not have the role of supervisor, but you need to build relationships so that people that work with you see you as a leader.
Yes.
See you as a leader, because then the people above you say, you know what, she's already leading her team, leading her staff through influence. She would probably make a good supervisor.
And I'm going to tell you, people are often scared to put that on their resume. They're scared to say that they have leadership skills if they don't have the title of manager or supervisor. Don't be scared to do that. Put it on there. They'll see that your title isn't manager, and then speak to it in your interview. Speak to it when you reach out about it. Don't be afraid to put those leadership skills, even if it's in outside of work, in your nonprofit volunteer work.
Your church.
That's right. Put that on there. Make sure it's valid now.
Right. Don't lie. don't lie. Okay.
Make sure it's valid.
Some people like what is that? Alternative truths, alternative facts. Yeah, don't do that.
No alternative facts. Now be able to back it up and make sure it's substantial. Make sure it's not, I monitored the bathroom staff, at the church. Make sure it's valid. You led something you led a conference, you led something where they can see your leadership skills, and it will be considered.
I have one of my clients who wanted to apply for an event management position, but she's never been an event planner, right? So she wanted to is at a hotel. She had 50% of the requirements. She could do all the work. And I was like, well, if you can do all the duties and you've never been an event planner, how do you know how to do all these duties? And she was like, well, at my church, we throw a lot of events and I'm the one that coordinates all the events. And I'm like, you got the freaking experience right there.
Exactly.
You got the experience.
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't have to it doesn't always have to be career related. It's just like with college students. I work with them all the time and I tell them, you don't have the work experience to justify certain things. You have to go back into, what leadership skills that you have in college, what, volunteering, what did you do outside of that? What extracurricular things did you do?
Right.
Learn from it, how are you instrumental in doing certain things, and then transition that and how you can do that at this organization and how you're going to be a benefit to them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
so
right.
That's one of the things that I always say is, the requirements are the requirements, but the requirements can not be requirements if you can do all of the duties.
That's right.
And if you don't know all of the duties, but you really want that job, learn how to do it, start incorporating it, or, take the classes and get yourself prepared for that.
That's right. I have a friend who is looking to transition into a different career. And so she said, Dorothea, can you help me with Excel? I haven't worked in. I said, sure, I'll help you. But in addition to me helping her, she's already signed up for a free class at the library. She's all on YouTube. Everything is at your fingertips with YouTube. Googling how to do Excel so that she can learn that skill. Now, this is another point I want to make. For those of you who, we're saying you don't have to have everything that's on the job description. But once you get that job, that goes back to being a master in your role. Learn everything that you're not proficient in, become proficient. Do whatever you have to do. Take classes at night, get with somebody who knows how to do that, who has done it before. Doesn't have to be in your job, it could be in another state. But get with somebody who can help you, basically like a tutor that can help you in different scenarios for things that you don't understand. Otherwise, you will get in that position and fail because you haven't done the legwork.
Exactly. So there's a lot of people that want to transition from one role. They want to transfer into another position. Had this one young lady, another client. She hated technology. She hated computers, didn't have a computer. Her cell phone was a flip phone. Okay, that's as smart as her phone was going to get. She didn't think her phone should be smarter than her. So she got her flip phone, right? Yeah, that's another story. But she wanted the job because it was more money, it was less hours, and all of this. But one of the proficiencies is that she had to be proficient in Microsoft Office platform.
Yeah.
You had to understand Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and all of that. And so she was like, well, I'm 57 years old. How am I going to, learn all of this? And I said, well, if you don't, you're not going to get that job. If you don't put forth the effort to try to learn it, then you really didn't want the job in the first place. So we do what we want to do. We buy what we want to buy. We're with who we want to be with. Because if it's something we really want to do, we're going to make the effort to do it. And if we don't make the effort to do it, we really didn't want it. We just wanted the benefits of it.
Exactly. It looks good to us.
It looks good. Like, I really want that fine man. But if I think about all the maintenance that he's probably going to be with, nah. Ain't that deep for me. I'm still thanking God for my future husband. Don't know who he is yet.
He's on his way.
So let's talk about, I know we didn't plan to talk about this, but let's talk about money. Let's talk about money. Asking for more money.
Yes.
Okay. So what are some of your tips to ask for more money, ask for a raise or whatever? I have a few of mine, but what are some things that you think are helpful to ask for more money?
So here's my thing. When I believe, number one, I believe in asking. Number two, you must have a track record of success. If all your reviews that you got each year were unmet, and meaning you didn't meet your goals, please don't go in there asking for a raise. Or if
it was met goals, if you just met them, or if you were satisfactory,
right?
Don't ask for no more money because you just did your job. You did what you were paid for.
Exactly. So here's a key thing when you're asking for more money. Number one, can you put a number on the value that you brought to the company that year? Did you save them any money? That's number one. And I know all of us aren't in positions where you are saving the company money every year. And so I get that 100%, but just think long and hard about it. Did you do the work of two people? If you did the work of two people, you saved them whatever that salary was. There are a lot of people that are doing the work of two people. Come with your bullet points. Don't just come in here, Dorothea, you know what, I work hard and you need to give me some more money. No. Don't come in and say, Dorothea, you know what, my bills are just overtaking me and I need to make more money. I have nothing to do with that. That is your personal problem. When you come and you want to raise, you say, I do A, B, C, and D. I do it well. You have to state your case. And then you have to have a number in your mind. Number one, do some research. In your role, at your level, the number of years you've been doing this, what's the salary range? What does the company generally pay? I'm not saying you have to stick there, but have a number, a bottom, a middle, and a best case scenario. What's the number that's going to have you hopping and skipping out of there with a smile on your face? And then what's the number that's going to say, okay. Because that's where your negotiation comes in.
Yep.
You have to state your case. You cannot just go in there empty-handed saying, oh, well, so-and-so got a raise. You don't really know the details behind what that's about. So definitely don't go in talking about anybody else but you. Right. Or definitely don't bash anyone when you go in there.
And don't bash the daggone company.
Oh goodness, no. Y'all don't pay enough anyway.
Y'all ain't give me a raise in 10 years. So I deserve it. No, don't do that.
No,
Don't do that.
no.
All right.
Not at all. Not at all. So those are my key points when you go in and ask for more money or promotion. And don't get mad if they say no. Don't walk out of there with an attitude, because let me tell you something. Those backroom conversations are going on. And maybe they say no today, but maybe they go home and sleep on it. And maybe they make a few phone calls and have some conversations. Maybe they don't. Maybe you have to wait another year, or maybe you have to just start looking for another job. Either way, it's a personal decision, but make sure that everything you do it with class and professionalism.
Right.
They should never see attitude from you.
Right. I absolutely agree with you. If you come to me as the employer and you have an attitude, an entitlement attitude, that's a quick no. Yeah. And if you say, well, if you don't pay me, I'm gonna leave, why wait? Can I get someone to help you pack? You know, threats don't really work well with me as an employer. It never has, never will. And anyone that's willing to threaten, if you don't pay me, then I'm gonna leave. They have this indispensable thing. They think that, you know, and a lot of people that hoard information. And that happened once, where this one girl, she hoarded all this information. Nobody knew how to do anything. They had to go to her, and she felt that was her job security until we had to fire her butt. So what happens is, yeah, it might hurt us for maybe 1-2 months, but everything that we didn't know, somebody's going to be trained on how to do it. And I bet you that won't ever happen again.
That's right.
I bet y'all have backup. So it just teaches us a lesson, but you're not indispensable. Just saying.
Right, that's right. Everybody is replaceable from the top to the bottom.
Right. And so here are some of my tips. One, you're absolutely right. Majority, especially with women, the reason why most women get paid less is one of the reasons is because we don't ask. We don't ask, and we don't negotiate.
That's right.
So because we don't ask and negotiate, we don't get, which means we get paid less. Now, I'm not saying that's the only reason, but that's one of the key reasons why women get paid less than men. So one, you do need to ask. I agree with you that you need to come with some facts. You need to explain why. It's like making the deposit. I deserve the interest because I deposited this. So I deserve the interest, or I feel I deserve the interest. I put in this amount of wood, so I deserve the heat. Or, you know, and then if they say, you know what, we just can't give you a raise at this time, what do I need to do to be considered for a raise?
Exactly.
Start asking some open-ended questions to get some feedback. Don't you always tell them what you're doing, because what you're doing may not warrant a raise.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They may be thinking that's just a part of your job. You know, that's a part of miscellaneous duties as assigned. So, you know, you might want to get some clarity as to what do I need to do to get, you know, to be considered for a raise. And a lot of people, they've been there so long, they're at the top of their pay grade.
Yeah.
What happens when you're at the top of your pay grade, but you want more money? So if you're at the top of your pay grade and you want more money and they can't give you more money in the position, you need to reconsider, or you need to consider going to a different position or creating a position for them. So if you're doing the work of the position and you're doing even more work, there could be a gap between the supervisor and the position you're in. Yeah. And if you can show that you can be of more value in that gap, you can relatively create your own job description and they can create the pay grade. I've seen it before. I've done it before. And
that's
so,
right.
Especially for those people that are they're at the top of their pay grade and they say, we can't give you more money in this position, then you may want to consider changing positions, changing jobs, or creating a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. I agree 100%. I'm going to tell you this. If you switch jobs, companies, you can earn about 20% more. You essentially can get a 20% raise. So whereas if you stay in a company, it's what, 5 to 10. You know, if you get a promotion. But if you switch companies, you can get a 20% increase because you can ask for what you want, right? And a lot of times I've seen this over and over again. People have to leave. So in the finance world or in any field, healthcare, whatever, everybody kind of knows a lot of people at the different employers. So you go from one company to another company. Maybe someone was a manager and then they go to being a director at that other company. And then they come back as a director at the old company. So there's a lot of switching around that goes on. And if you find that you're at the top and you just can't get any traction, you're applying for jobs, you're applying to get promoted by the position, trying to jump a couple levels, don't be afraid. I see a lot of fear with people. If they've been somewhere 10, 12, 20 years, they don't want to leave the company they're at. So of course, it's all a personal decision, but sometimes you have to leave that company, go to a competitor or just somewhere else, get the money you want, get the position you want, get the title you want, then come back at that elevated level.
Sometimes your man needs to know other men want you. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
I just had to. It's been all night.
Okay, that's very Miss Financial Fornication. Y'all know she's got to do it now.
You know I had to do it. I had to do it. Sometimes you gotta let your man know. There's other people want me too, boo. Oh my gosh, yeah. So are there any other tips that you would like to share about, tell us about, before we end, soft skills. A lot of people are talking about soft skills.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people that are hardcore with these soft skills and they don't understand what soft skills are. What are soft skills?
Yes, I just did a presentation for an organization because organizations want their employees to work on these soft skills. Soft skills are essentially people skills. They are social skills. Now, back in the day, your mama taught you these skills.
They were called manners.
But these days, people do not have them. So corporations are hiring people like you and me to come in and teach their employees about soft skills. Do people like you? When that goes back to what I talked about greeting people. Do you say hello in the morning? When I come to you and I need help, do you greet me with a smile and an open look on your face as if you're willing to help? Or do you keep your back turned to me like, I don't know why she's talking to me anyway?
Right.
Are you rude? Are you short with your answers? Are you helpful? Are you polite?
Right.
That's what soft skills are. And apparently it is a problem in the workplace because I'm getting calls. So that
you too. Yeah.
Yeah. So that essentially is what soft skills are. Listen, and you may not know it. No, for instance, me. I'm better with this now because I'm conscious of it. But when I up in my early 20s, everybody walked by me, they say, smile, smile. I have a thinking face. I'm thinking.
Right.
It's my resting face must be really evil.
Well, see, it must be a February 11th thing. Because my concentration face and my resting face, and I get that all the time, like, smile, it's going to be okay. And I'm like, I'm good.
I'm fine. But I had to practice because I didn't want to be thought of as mean. Mm-hmm. And that's, you look so mean. You look mean. I didn't want that. So thank God that I figured it out early, and I had to practice.
Right.
And kind of having that.
Like I'm doing it now, y'all. So did you understand, right? I'm purposely smiling throughout this entire thing because my resting face would be like, this chick ain't really trying to be here.
Not at all.
It's not that at all.
I'm going to tell you, I don't know about you, but when I do television interviews, I have to be very careful because I've watched some where I felt like I was being like a mama and just giving out instructions and not smiling. So it's something we are constantly working on, and you as an employee, you have to work on it too. And your poker face. Yep. Guilty again.
Preach it.
I don't have a poker face. I am a what the wiggity kind of person. And but you cannot do that. You have to be careful in these settings.
Look, I've been practicing my poker face too.
You cannot. You have to sit there. Because you're going to hear, let me tell you something. You're going to hear some stuff that is some BS from the front door to the back door. Mm-hmm. But you have got to just sit there. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. You cannot, you practice your poker face. And I know about keeping it real. Look, I'm the keeping it realest person you ever want to meet. But let me tell you something. I'm not going to let me keeping it real stop me from getting that money, okay?
Right.
So determine what you want to do here.
Right.
And I know, like you were talking about, people don't want to play the game. Listen, it's all a game. If you're going to keep the job, whether it's corporate or factory or any other position.
Or even if you're self-employed.
Exactly.
Or you have your own business.
That's right.
It's a game. Right. You're trying to figure out how to win sales. You're trying to win revenue. You're trying to win clients. You're trying to win.
That's right.
If you don't want to play the game, you're going to get played. So don't get mad when you lose.
That's right. So listen, look, play the game to win. That's what I say. Learn the rules.
Learn the rules. Play the game. And make up some rules on your way down. I'm just saying.
That's right.
But I like what you said, you know, especially with the poker face. And I got to tell you about the gentleman that taught me about the poker face.
Okay.
His name, Michael Hale. If anybody knows Michael Hale, he was at Andrews Federal Credit Union. I used to do a lot of training there. You know, they called me in to do a lot of soft skills training and all of that. And I saw him, you know, we were at a staff meeting. Something happened and everybody in the place was like, ooh, or whatever, right? This man stood there. Like, you know, have you seen the deacon's face in church?
Yes.
Something fazed him and he's just sitting at church smiling and the face never changed one bit. I was like, that's the best poker face. I'm going to learn how to do that.
See?
So every time when I feel like I got to do a poker face, I think of him and try to put on my deacon face. And you know, in my mind, because I show all my emotions too. Like, you tell me something, I'm gonna look at you like you done lost your damn mind. You know, I just have that face, right? You know something's wrong. So we really have to work on poker face. I also love what you say when people ask you for help. One of the things that I teach my clients to do is to say my pleasure. Okay, so I started doing that. Maybe about 6 years ago, because I didn't want people to think that they couldn't come to me to ask for help, because my resting face looks like don't bother me.
Right.
Stay away from me, right? And so I learned that when people approach me and have a question, one, I got to smile at them. And how can I help you? You know what I'm saying? Even if I can't do it, whatever. And if I'm able to help them or whatever, I always end it with my pleasure. My pleasure. What that gets from, and I learned it from the industry, is that, oh, it was your pleasure to help me. Now, you know, I may not want them to ever come back, but I need them to feel comfortable enough to ask me questions, because if they ask me questions, they trust that I can help them.
That's right.
And so that got me a long way with, you know, management. Even when I, you know, the CEO would call me and say, Tara, I need you to do this, this, this. And I'm like, okay, my pleasure.
Yeah. Board
Members would call me, my pleasure.
Yeah.
Because, and they would call me to do things. They would call me to do things that they wouldn't even call the CEO. They're like, you know, can you help us through this? Can you talk us through this? Can you do my pleasure? Okay. That's just some of the things that help me in those type of positions, and help me to advance. Cool.
That's right.
It's been fun, girl. You know,
yes.
I appreciate you talking about that, because we learned about, you know, relationships, how important it is to build relationships, which helps us to advance in our careers, to make more money when we're in our position, to ask for more money, how to negotiate. And I love what you said, is you come up with your figures. What is your ideal rate that you want? And what is the bottom rate that you're satisfied with? And you have to make a decision. You know, you probably can work in between, hopefully, or if they're like, no, we can't give you anything, you're either going to stay or you're going to leave. You know what I'm saying? Or you're going to ask them an open-ended question. What can I do to be considered for a raise? If they say there's nothing you can do, then you need to make a decision on if it's someplace you want to stay. If there's no room for advancement, no room for increase, is that someplace you want to stay? And don't be afraid to go.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Dorothea, I really appreciate you being on the Madam Money class this week and talking about career and money. You're freaking awesome. How can people stay in contact with you?
Thank you. I've had, as always with you, we have a great time when we get together. So thank you so much. And thank you to your audience. Please follow me on social media. I am at Dorethia Kelly on all social media. Visit themoneychat.com. Join the email list. Check it out. I have the Rock Your Money Chat Challenge. That's on the website as well, themoneychat.com/rock, to help you get your money right. So thank you so much. It's been a blast as usual.
Well, thank you so much. And before you all go, I just got to tell you, we talked about one thing which was powerful that Dorethia mentioned, was about what is your personal brand, your professional brand, telling the world. If you have challenges about developing a personal brand, a professional brand, a business brand, and you need some tips on how to do that, either internally with your job, externally, out in the public, or through social media, anything to expand your brand so you can get more profits, more income, you have got to join me in Los Angeles, California, July 22nd. That's on a Saturday. I am taking Boss Brunch from the East Coast. We are going to the West Coast, and it is going to be a mini conference called Boss Con. So if you want to know everything you need to know about building bigger brand exposure for bigger profits, you have got to be there. Our speakers are absolutely phenomenal. It's going to be a complete day, so it's not just a brunch, even though you will get a delicious brunch in the middle, but we are going to have speakers. They're going to teach you lessons so that you can come out there with things that you can execute out there. So if you're tired of people telling you, you need to do this, 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 but they don't tell you how to do it, that's what BOSS, Business Owner Success Strategies, is about. Boss Con. So because you're watching this, you will get a special discount. If you use the code BOSS, BOSS, you will get a special discount. And where do you go to get this special discount? And where do you go to register? Because it is limited seatings. We're at 50% capacity. I'm so excited. 50% capacity. That means we only have about 50 more seats to go, because it's a small, intimate group, because I want you all to connect with the experts, connect with me and connect with each other. You can go to bossbrunch.net, BOSSBRUNCH.net. When you register, use the discount code BOSS to get a special discount so you can be with us. There's hotel information that's there. But everyone that's on the West Coast side, whether you're Las Vegas, whether you're California, Washington, wherever you are, come hang out with us in Los Angeles, California, Saturday, July 22nd. Hey, if you're on the East Coast and you want a vacation, hang out with us for the girls' weekend, I'm just saying, I have several girlfriends, including my ride or die chick, Edeline Dryden, who is a sponsor, We Rock, who's a sponsor, who's coming out with me, and a couple other ladies from Atlanta, Georgia, who is coming out to California to hang out with us. So make sure you plan that date. That's our girls' weekend out. You know, there's a couple movies out about girls' weekend. I'm not quite sure if it's going to be that wild, but we'll probably, we either can't take our cameras or we're going to need a camera crew. One or the other, but we're going to have a good time. So make sure you go to bossbrunch.net. Next week, we're going to be talking about how to teach our kids investing. So this is going to be a kid-friendly thing. Yeah, we need to know, but if we start teaching our kids how to invest now, imagine what they're going to be when they are our age. Right. So we have Prince Dykes, who just wrote a couple books out there teaching kids about investing. He just did one about teaching kids how to, about credit. And so he is the master of teaching kids how to invest. Wesley, I think he's like Wesley, his son Wesley. It's about his son. And his books are absolutely phenomenal. So can't wait to have him next week. Don't forget to join the group if you're not already in the group, the Madam Money Class group. Get special discounts, get special gifts, get special access. You know, everything's so special for me. Because I love you all so much. But thank you all for watching the class. We'll see you next week. Have an awesome week. You know what? I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. And I haven't asked you all this in a while. How much money have you spent today? That never gets old for me. Sorry. Good night, y'all.